Tonight, we're cooking the Burmese name for this is called Kaukswe, and I really don't know what it means. I should have looked it up. A key thing. So this is Kaukswe. It's a chicken dish, and it's a kind of brothy thing. It's got coconut cream in it, and a lot of very simple flavors that kind of blend really well together. So, okay, the start of everything Burmese are these three ingredients. In fact, everything Indian is these three ingredients. Use 3 onions, and I like red onions. If you've watched Fancy Smancy before, I just like red onions.
And could you use brown onions, or is it traditionally red onions?
You can use brown onions. Traditionally, my family used brown.
Yeah.
I just like red onions. So this is my first deviation to the family recipe. Roughly chop the onions. So we need 5 cloves of garlic. And garlic is very.
And so the blending, is it going to be a paste, this part of it? Or
Yeah, pretty much. We're going to just chuck it in the blender.
So you could use a mortar and pestle if you were going to, if you're old school.
If you're really up for it.
Yes.
You could. If you could be bothered. Or actually you could not mash it at all. You could just throw all of this, chop it relatively fine, and just throw it in the pan. 3 onions, 5 cloves of garlic, and we're going to put all of that into our blender. Okay. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is add some sesame oil. Sesame oil is strong, so you don't need a lot. I'm just going to put about a tablespoon of sesame oil. Not much. I am going to crush a few kaffir lime leaves. Okay, and that's.
You like this, don't you?
What do you think of the smell?
Strong.
Strong. Yeah, good. Chuck in a chili. The next thing the dish calls for is chickpea powder, or in our case, I'm just going to use chickpeas, which are going to go in the blender. That needs a little bit of liquid in order to blend, so I'm just going to add a little bit of. I've added a bit of peanut oil to give it a bit of flavour. Okay, have a smell of that.
Strong. I'm just trying to think, is it chili or not? Yeah, it must be the
That's the onion.
That's the onion.
Yeah, the onion. Give you that nice water feel.
Yeah.
I'm going to start by putting a bit of oil in. Again, people say how much oil you put in. I think the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of peanut oil.
Is it common in Burmese cooking?
It's common in both Burmese and Asian cooking. You wouldn't want to use virgin oil or extra olive oil because it'll break down really quickly, whereas this oil will actually retain the heat and actually cook at a high temperature. Once the oil's in, we pour in the rather spicy mixture. And we'll just get the rest of that out. disproportionately smelly to the flavour that it imparts. So I wouldn't sniff it, I just put it here and you guys kind of try and get it to waft towards you. It stinks.
Oh, it does. Oh god.
Okay. A teaspoon of the fish sauce. And a bit, okay, because fish based, yeah. Shrimp based.
Sauce.
Or if you want to be Burmese, it's called nippy. Yeah.
Why that and the fish sauce? Because are they not going to
Knock each other out?
well put the same flavour in or not? Or
Okay.
two different flavours? Or?
The fish sauce is an accent. It's actually salt.
Yeah.
Okay? This guy is more like stock.
Right.
Spices. Okay, we've got a teaspoon of turmeric and a teaspoon of paprika, smoky paprika. For that, about a teaspoon, and about the same again of paprika. Paprika will add some smokiness. 2 tablespoons of salt. Okay. I'm going to add some peanut butter just to give it a bit of nuttiness. It doesn't call for it in the recipe, but you know, I like it.
I'm guessing that's not traditional, is it?
No, but the peanuts might have been. Okay, so just give it a bash. That's all you need. And chuck it in. I'm pretty happy that's got to a good place. We're going to add in the meat. And what we're going to do is add enough water to cover the chicken, pretty much. Okay, and I shall do that now. Nice sniffy way of getting the flavour in. This is where the soup part comes in. So here's another little Hall family tradition, which I'm a little bit hesitant to put on the show. Okay, this is what my mum does, and as an ode to my mum, I'm going to do it. She puts a teaspoon of stock, and she uses powder. Okay, you could put real stock in there, but this is what the Anglo-Burmese do. So just what I'm going to do is add a few extra ingredients. These guys just get away from me. We need chopping up a bit big.
What are they, Dev?
Fish balls. These guys are just going to go in. Fried tofu is fantastic because they absorb a lot of the gravy.
Oh, so you buy it fried.
You buy it
This
fried.
is-
I'm going to add some coconut cream now that the chicken has cooked. And I'm going to put 2 cups of this stuff in. So add that in. It's looking and smelling good. We're just going to chuck some zucchini. Again, just roughly chop the zucchini. Okay, so you can, this is when the coconut cream is beginning to contribute towards the meal. You get the smell. Braise some Hokkien noodles, which is they're fresh noodles, so they just need to be heated up really. So we're just going to chuck them in some hot water, and we're going to use some vermicelli as well as a bit of a variety. The dish is accompanied by chopped coriander, chili for extra spice. You can have rough chili if you want, just dried rough chili. Egg, which thickens the sauce. Lemon juice, which adds a bit of zing. Spring onions, which just adds a bit more flavour. Crispy noodles, which gives you crunch to the dish. Bean sprouts, which also gives you crunch and a bit more freshness. Some salt, which is simply fish sauce. Get the best fish sauce you can afford, and a more crunch with onions and a bit of sweetness with some raw onions. Everything gets added individually into the dish as you go, and you can choose whatever you feel like in terms of how you want to affect the flavour of the dish by adding more or less of any of these ingredients. Okay, we've got the oil returning on the sauce, so the soup, and it's looking really good. So that's a good sign that it's cooked and ready to go. Just grab a dish and a bit of chicken, and some tofu and some veggies, and just cover the noodles with the liquid. So make sure you get some zucchini in there as well.
And you've got extra for unexpected guests.
So with this spread, what you want to do is add bits and pieces to it to actually accompany the dish. So start with a bit of coriander and use your fingers because we're all friends here. A bit of chili if you want. If you don't like chili, that's fine. You want a bit of egg, make sure you get some of the yolk because that actually thickens it up. So a bit of egg in there, a bit more egg. Squeeze of lemon juice, that's going to give it a bit of zing. Lemon juice back in there. Some crunch with some spring onions. More crunch with some crispy noodles and some freshness with some spring onions, and some more crunch with some of and just a bit of fish sauce to give it a bit of saltiness. And there you have it. That is Kaukswe.
It looks good.
It's really thick.
Yeah.